Welcome to the Property Profits Real Estate Podcast, the show where real estate investors talk strategy, capital, deals, and growth with your host, Dave Dubeau.
Property management is one of those things that most people hate doing. If you've owned any of your own properties, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Well, today's special guest loves property management. He loves it so much. He's built his whole company and his whole career around that. Derek Morton is zooming in from beautiful Utah, and he owns a company called Net Gain Property Management. We're going to be talking all things property management today. Derek, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So give us a little snapshot as of the middle of the year, 2026. What does your property management company look like? So in other words, how many units under management, or how do you measure things? What does the company look like right now, Derek?
So we're headquartered out of Cedar City, Utah. So based in southern Utah, but from here, we're crazy and we manage 93% of the population base of Utah. So even though we're in southern Utah, we can manage 9 counties, including Salt Lake, Provo, all that area up north along the Wasatch Front. We've got employees up there. And so we've just kind of been able to build it. We've been around for 10 years and 650 units through 93% of the population base of Utah is kind of.
Okay, yeah, I misunderstood when you said 93%. I didn't. Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, you covered 93% of the population base.
Yep.
You aren't managing
No.
93% of the. You would like to be, but you're not. All right.
The way we're going, it may happen at some point. So, but some of those areas are.
So how many units altogether?
650.
Okay, very good. So I don't know. I heard years ago that to make a property management company really kind of fly, you need to be managing at least like 400 doors. Has that been your understanding? Has that been your finding?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's just certain things once you hit different thresholds with credibility and the type of people that you can attract, and then even just finding vendors. Like if you have more to send them, they're more willing to be like,
Well, of course.
bend to your will in essence.
So 600 plus doors under management. What does your typical client look like? What size of a portfolio do they tend to have, and what kind of properties?
So we've got a mix of multifamily, single family, some student housing that we're pulling out of because that market's just kind of dying in some parts here in Utah, and it's a little bit more of a hassle. And long term, when you look at the demographic cliffs and everything that are coming, I'm just like, I'll just pass on that. So we're slowly but surely moving out of that. But it's single family, multifamily is mostly where we're sitting at. Our owners average about 3 units.
Okay, so smaller.
About 3.5 units per owner. So because we got about 188 owners for 650 units. So.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so educate me a little bit about the challenge with managing student housing these days in Utah. Why are you getting out of that? Maybe just wrap that for me.
So some of it, like the major university where we're located, they're actually shrinking, and some of those mid-size universities, you're seeing that the on campus is shrinking.
Why is that?
So some of what's happening is, I mean, we've demonized higher education for years, so people are like, it's not worth getting the loans. It's not worth the time. I'm going to go into debt to come out and make $15 an hour.
Go work at McDonald's anyhow.
Right? So you have some of that. And then I just pure demographics. So I think this year is the first year you're going to start seeing the birth rates have dropped year after year. So this is that first year we finally started to see. When you go back 18 years, that was 2008, right? Yeah. So right in the heart of the Great Recession, and people are like, I don't even know if
I ain't having kids.
Yeah. So this is where you first saw that. And so you've got kind of this cliff. So each year there's going to be less and less 18-year-olds coming in. And
plus less immigration into the country these days.
Yeah, well, less immigration. We've experienced that with some of our stuff. And those with the increase of online. So like our local university, like their population is growing, but the on-campus is shrinking, but it's mostly because of the growth of online.
Right. Okay. All of that makes a ton of sense. Perfect. Plus, it sounded to me like you were thinking student housing is a pain in the butt anyhow.
You get great stories. You do get great stories. But between,
it's hard to take great stories to the bank, though. Sometimes
I know. Where you sit back and go, we are doomed as a country. So
well, while we're on that, there must be one that pops into your mind. So just tell me your favorite, best student housing story, just for fun.
So there's too many. So probably the best one is, and luckily the dad, like God bless the dad, because this could have been a lot worse. So we had a house that the neighbors found out who the owner was. And they would talk to us about issues. I'm like, cool, and we fix them and everything. But for whatever reason, they didn't want to let us know. So apparently this house they had got busted the night before with a drug raid. Okay. So in the meantime, before this, about a week before, they sent a letter to the owner. And in this, they were the neighbor.
Okay.
So they tracked down the owner's mailing address and everything and mail it to him.
So your client.
Yep. So my client. So I get this text with this screenshot of this letter. And I'm like, dude, yeah, we got a drug raid. I'm trying to get all the information. We're going to evict that guy. We had talked about some of the issues and we were just going to clean this house out anyways. We should have just, gone for it, but we knew it's student housing. And if it's empty, it's going to just sit empty because it's mid-year.
Yeah.
But in part of this, and this is where, I still haven't told this owner. And so now if he watches this podcast,
you froze up on me for a second, so I missed.
But as part of this, so I still haven't told this owner, this part of it. So the letter, part of it said, hey, they even have a chicken and a duck in their backyard. And I'm like, okay, we moved in a student that was the biggest narc. He was he would just let us know everything to the point where it's kind of annoying. You're like, dude, let the kids. And I'm like, I can guarantee that if there was a chicken and a duck in that yard, we would know. This guy has let us know everything.
Got it.
So as we're going in there to check some stuff, me and my employee, all of a sudden we go into the backyard and I'll be danged, there was a chicken and a duck. And I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever. I'm like, I am a liar. So we yelled at the guy who was the narc. We're like, really, of all the things you don't let us know, this is not pet friendly. And there's a chicken and a duck. Well, I like the chicken and the duck. And we're like, you've got to be kidding.
The narc is a fan of poultry.
So I'm like, okay, I am a liar. We trusted this guy. We told him, dude, you told us everything. We trust you. I was going to go to the bank. I think I made $100 bet with the owner. There's not going to be a chicken and duck. Luckily, I kind of won because when he went by, there was no longer a chicken and duck. But so it's just stuff like that. You're just like, what the heck?
It's
a fascinating
one. I'm sure you got a bunch of them. So Derek, it sounds like you tend to be working with the smaller landlords, average about 3 doors each. So currently, is the portfolio mostly single family homes or mostly small multifamily?
We're sitting at about kind of 33% single family, 33% kind of that duplex to sixplex, and then another 30% multifamily.
Okay, all right, very good. So moving ahead, we were talking a little bit off camera. You're looking at perhaps getting into yet another city in the state.
Yeah.
Where are you taking your company over the next couple of years? What size of properties you want to start managing?
So we're going to try to focus on those owners that have 4 or more. With our tech stack and everything, they are the ones that kind of have a better understanding of what we're trying to do. They tend to be a little bit lower maintenance. So they just know a water heater goes out, sucks. It is what it is. It's a tax write-off, right? They're like, this year was good. I probably need it. It's painful, but they can roll with it. Whereas when you look at the accidental investors, I can't sell my house, which is happening a lot right now.
Yeah.
Can't sell my house, so I might as well rent it. Then all of a sudden a water heater goes out and they're like, well, that had to have been the tenant, right? And you're like, no, that's a 30-year-old water heater. I don't know how it lasted that long. Yeah. We're just happy it didn't flood out your basement too. And so, but
you'd rather deal with fewer of those.
Yep. And so, and they don't stress out as much, right? Like, yes, they understand vacancy, but they understand the ebbs and flows, that sometimes the market's soft, sometimes it's good. And you can have a conversation going like, look, we might want to drop this 50 to $100 to get it rented. And they're like, okay, I just need it rented. Mm-hmm. It's better to lose it 50, $100 a month as opposed to all of a sudden $1,000 and it sits 3 months.
Right.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com.
So when you start working with a new client, let's say they've got four, 5, 6 doors in their portfolio, what do you guys typically do to go in and kind of get them the biggest bang for their buck the fastest working with a private management company?
Well, the biggest thing is we make sure we do a pre-acquisition inspection. So if it's vacant, we go in there. So we have a good idea where it's sitting. With our onboarding form that we do with them, we have how old is the water heater, all that stuff. So that if there's stuff right now, they're like, do we want to risk this, or I can get you a bid and let's just replace it now while it's vacant. So it minimizes the any issues when the resident's in there, and just kind of do a lot of preventative stuff. Then we use a lot of AI and on showings and stuff. Like we use ShowMojo is our go-to for showings and scheduling and self-directed showings. So instead of like, hey, I need to do a showing at 7:00 at night, you're like, me and my staff aren't going to do a showing at 7:00 at night or the weekends. We enjoy our life, right?
Right.
It's how we're able to do what we do is we need time away. Right. But with the self-directed showings and the security they have in there, they can see it anywhere from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So
for those that aren't familiar with it, how does a self-directed showing work exactly?
So what it is a potential resident, we've got lock boxes on there that have codes and security features. So they can be like, hey, I want to see this at 8:00 at night. They upload a picture of either their driver's license or their credit card. So we know who's in the unit.
Right.
And then we get notice when they go access the unit. And then they get a text basically saying, hey, did you secure the unit? And if not, then I know we have to go out. And I'll say a few choice words because it's 9:00 at night when I get that text, but you don't want to, if there's issues. But we've been using that software for about 3 years and allowing the self-directed showings. It cuts down our days on the market by about 10 days.
Wow.
Because of the pure just convenience of it.
Do you put any cameras, any other security stuff in the unit itself or no?
No, because we know just here's who.
You got a credit card, I guess. You're covered.
Yeah. So we know if there's issues, we know where to start, right?
Right.
And doing that across the state, we've had very minimal issues, which has been sweet. That was one of our biggest hurdles, but that's the nice thing about being our size and around the state. I'm like, hey, look, I know in Cedar City, you may be concerned, but we have buildings in downtown Salt Lake that we use this, the software for, and Provo and Ogden, all of this, and we're not having issues. I'm not saying really we may not have an issue.
Yeah.
Because people are.
Right. I mean, just extrapolating that, reducing the time on market by an average of 10 days across 600 units, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. And it allows us, because we work on our renewals like 2 months in advance, right? So if they're not going to renew, we're showing that unit when the current tenant's in there.
Okay.
So that cuts down on the downtime for them. And then like if we take on a unit, or if we're like, hey, we know we're going to have to do a lot of work on this one. We have to replace the carpet, do the paint. It's time, give it the refresh. We know we can fill that much quicker, and we have the numbers. So it's so powerful because I can go to an owner that's looking on board like, hey, what do you have? And I'm with the tech, I'm like, hey, with that 2-bedroom unit, you're going to be 25 days. And we're usually within 5 days either way.
Very, very cool. Well, that's a huge competitive advantage compared to the typical do-it-yourself landlord with 3 or 4 units. They aren't going to do that. Like, they aren't going to be set up for anything.
And that was the craziest thing, like data. And I know you're big into data to do what you have to do. Like when I was small, I hated it. But now that I'm big, I'm like, oh, this is actually good data.
Yeah.
So to be able to have that powerful, not only for the sales pitch, for new owners, like, hey, our average days of completion on maintenance is three days, and average cost is $175. And it takes, on our satisfaction over the last 5 years, we use the software is 4.5 out of 5, and we've run 200 work orders a month for the last 5 years, right? That's pretty powerful. But two, like, that's awesome for us to be like, okay, here's what we're budgeting for owners. Here's all this. And it just allows them to have the best knowledge possible and information so they can make the best decisions for them. And that's what we focus on. We automate a lot so that they have information to make the decisions. And then if they do have to call us, it's never, hey, what the heck is going on with my property? And then I have to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Which thing could be going with your property? It's like, hey, our property's been selling in the market for 25 days. You said we've had, average 3 showings a week. What do you recommend? Okay, here's what we're at. Here's what I would do. And that's a much different conversation with everyone as busy as they are. Gladly take the time out of that. That's not frustrating. There's nothing, but it's like, I don't know what's going on with my property. And I'm like, I don't know either. And then there's that animosity. It's like, what thing are you talking about?
Right.
Boom, here you go.
Yeah, you got everything at your fingertips. Everything at your fingertips.
Tell me what this means. What's the next step?
So just out of curiosity, as we're wrapping up here, Derek, how are you using AI these days to help you and your owners with property management?
So there's a few ways that I do it. And a lot of it's built in, so into our software. So one, like with Appfolio, we have a lot of automated workflows that are used with AI. So I can just go through, cut through 3 or 4 processes without us having to manually go in.
Like what, for example, just quickly?
So like lead follow-up.
Okay.
Setting up properties, and we can set up a few different things that we've been able to do. And I use some Claude to help out. I export some data from Appfolio and then go on to Claude to help me just with some data analysis quicker. Two, like with Show Mojo, like a lot of the responses, like it'll send out the automated drip using AI. So anytime we post a new property or a property comes off the market, anyone who's expressed an interest in any of that in the past little bit gets an email. Hey, this came off the market. Here's other ones that are similar. We even got it to where about 8-9 months down the road, they get another drip email. So if they went with someone else, we've already kind of got in there. But then like one of the big things that I love is, so within Property Meld, we've got All Max. And so using their AI, about 10% of our work orders are already able to be troubleshooted through AI. Wow. So running 200, if we can cancel out 20 of them, that's huge. And it saves the owners money. Like I said, the average is like, I think 185, I said, on work order. So that's a huge savings to our owners.
Nice.
And we're looking into some AI receptionists, and I've got one that does some after hours stuff that we're just kind of tweaking. So all of that kind of stuff is huge. And I mean, there's the AI, the way it's looking, there's some software that can just do some insane stuff that just scares me a little bit. So I haven't quite gone full bore. I'm trying to get comfortable with the baby steps.
Yeah,
I'm going to take on Godzilla.
Yeah.
And create Terminator myself. But all
Very
that
cool
stuff is nice. And then like we've got an investment portfolio management system that's integrating some AI that can we'll be able to start giving suggestions for investments for our owners. Like, hey, looking at all the maintenance stuff we've exported, you may want to 1031 this. This would probably be the best option. Nice. Looking at your cap rate, cash on cash return, and it's pretty sweet. So
nice. So Derek, who are you looking to connect with these days?
I'm just looking for those investors in Utah that would like to have a one-stop shop for all their management. So if you've got properties across the state and go, hey, instead of like having this spread out through 3 or 4 different property management companies, it would be nice to have one. Those are the people I'm looking for, and we're the best fit for them. So if those kind of people are listening or watching this, where can they go to find out more? So you can go to our website, NetGainPM, NetGainPM.com, or you can give me a call at 435-704-1169. Awesome. Derek, you know what? It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for sharing some war stories and how you guys are utilizing AI and tricky things and getting more bang for the buck for your clients, your customers. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Property Profits Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, apply at daveinterviews.u.com.